Hello children, good morning to all of you. Today we will have a new lesson. The title is The Rat Trap. I hope all of you know the word meaning rat trap. Rat trap is a small device to catch rats. You may have it in your own homes. So here is a lesson for you that tells something about a trap created by people, or we can say this rat trap is a philosophical one, that people are all getting trapped into certain context. Okay, so it is written by a Swedish writer whose name is Selma Lagerlöf. He was born in the year 1858 and died in the year 1940. Selma Lagerlöf was born in the year 1858 and died in the year 1940. Was a Swedish writer whose stories have been translated into many languages. A universal theme runs through all of them: a belief that the essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. Children, this is the theme of the lesson: a belief that the essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. The story is set amidst the mines of Sweden, rich in iron ore, which figure large in the history and legends of that country. The story is told somewhat in the manner of a fairy tale. So it is narrated just like that of a fairy tale. Right? So shall we begin? Yeah. So notice this expression in the text and infer the meaning from the context. Keep body and soul together, plots along the road, impenetrable prison, eased his way, things have gone downhill, hunger gleamed in his eyes, unwanted joy, nodded a hearty consent, fallen into a line of thoughts. These are the expressions used in the text that you can guess its meaning or infer the meaning. Okay? Once upon a time, there was a man who went around selling small rat traps of wire. He made them himself at odd moments from the material he got by begging in the stores or at the big farms. But even so, the business was not especially profitable. So he had to resort to both begging and petty thievery to keep body and soul together. Even so, his clothes were in rags, his cheeks were sunken, and hunger gleamed in his eyes. So the first paragraph tells us about the physical appearance of the rat trap, the person who sells rat traps for his livelihood. Okay? So what was he doing? He was moving around selling his rat trap that he himself made it out of wire or waste materials. Okay? Where did he find the waste materials? He finds it from the stores or from big farms. And was the business a profitable one? No. The business was not especially profitable. So what does he do other than selling rat trap? That's a question for you. You mark it. Begging and thievery. So he makes begging. Okay, children? He makes begging and also petty thievery. What is thievery? Stealing. Petty thievery to keep body and soul together. What do you mean by keep body and soul together? To live. To live in this world, other than selling rat trap, this rat trap seller resorts to begging as well as petty thievery. So that is one of the answers for one of the short answer questions. Even so, his clothes were in rags. Rags means torn clothes. Rags means torn clothes. His cheeks were sunken. His cheeks are somewhat inward, inside, Sangan, and hunger gleamed. Hunger is very much visible on his eyes. Gleamed actually means shone in his eyes. Okay, is it clear for all? Now coming to the second paragraph. No one can imagine how sad and monotonous life can appear to such a vagabond who plods along the road left to his own meditations, but one day this man had fallen into a line of thought which really seemed to him entertaining. He had naturally been thinking of his rat traps when suddenly he was struck by the idea that the whole world about him, the whole world with its lands and seas, its cities and villages, was nothing but a big rat trap. It had never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people. It offered riches and joys, shelter and food, heat and clothing, exactly as the rat trap offered cheese and pork. And as soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, it closed in on him, and then everything came to an end. Okay, children, the second paragraph tells us about the philosophical meaning of this rat trap. Actually, the man is facing monotony. What is monotony? A kind of lacking interest, a monotonous life without any interest. Okay, and he's a vagabond. What do you mean by vagabond? Vagabond means, okay, here's a word vagabond. All of you write down wanderer. He is a wanderer. Another word used for rat trap seller is vagabond here. Okay, who plods along the road, walks with difficulty along the road, left to his own meditations. He is in his own thoughts. Meditation here, thoughts, meditation. Another word, thoughts. But one day, a new idea struck his mind. What was the new idea? That the entire world is a rat trap. He had naturally been thinking about his rat traps when suddenly he was struck by the idea that the whole world about him, the whole world with his lands and seas, its cities and villages, was nothing but a big rat trap. That is the philosophical idea that struck the rat trap seller. What is it? The entire world is nothing but a rat trap. And generally, what we keep in a rat trap? A piece of coconut or piece of a dried fish or something that attracts the rat. But here he says there are many things that attracts a person in the world, like riches, or richness, and food, shelter, heat, clothing, whatsoever. Just like the cheese and pork inside the rat trap. And as soon as a person is tempted, what is tempted? Here means persuaded or motivated to touch the bait. What do you call the bait? The thing that is kept in the rat trap is called bait. And when the rat, for example, biting the bait, what will happen? The door of the trap will come closing and the rat will be trapped in. The same way, when people were tempted to touch the bait, what would happen? The door would be closed for them, and then everything came to an end. So children, is it clear? The second paragraph deals with how a person gets trapped. That is the philosophical idea that the rat trap seller got while he was plodding along the road. Okay, next paragraph. Okay. Yeah. The world had come, of course, never been very kind to him, so it gave him unwanted joy to think ill of it in this way. It became a cherished pastime of his during many dreary ploddings to think of people he knew who had left themselves be caught in the dangerous snare, and of others who were still circling around the bait. So So the third paragraph, what is it about? An explanation to the snare. What is snare? Rat trap. The world had, of course, never been very kind to him. Actually, people and the world are not friendly with him. So it gave him unwanted. All of you children, write down the word meaning. Unwanted. Unwanted. Here's the word unwanted. Unusual. Write down. Unusual joy to think ill of it in this way. It became a cherished pastime of his during many dreary ploddings, weak walking, and he was thinking about the people who had left themselves be caught in the dangerous snare. And according to him, some people are already caught in the snare, means in the rat trap, and some are yet to be caught in the rat trap, and people are still walking around the bait. So that is the philosophical idea again. For example, as a teacher, I am trapped here. Now I cannot become a doctor, nor I can become an engineer. So I have taken the bait of teaching. So tomorrow you may become a doctor. So you are going to bite the bait of that medicine, I mean doctor, like engineer. So children, here the rat trap seller is telling all are in one way or the other ways will be trapped in the rat trap, and others who are not trapped will find a day for that, and they are walking around the bait. Okay, now one more paragraph we will do. One dark evening, as he was trudging along the road, he caught sight of a little grey cottage by the roadside, and he knocked on the door to ask shelter for the night. Nor was he refused. Instead of the sour faces which ordinarily met him, the owner, who was an old man without wife or child, was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. Immediately he put the porridge pot on the fire and gave him supper. Then he carved off such a big slice from his tobacco roll that it was enough both for the stranger's pipe and his own. Finally he got out an old pack of cards and played mules with his guest until bedtime. So one day this man wanted to have shelter. So on seeing a small cottage, he just knocked the door, a little grey cottage by the roadside, and he just knocked the door. And what is his purpose? The purpose is to ask shelter for that night. But for his surprise, he was not refused. But generally what happens to him? People show sour faces, means they are not ready to accept him ordinarily. But this time here the owner of that small cottage allowed him to enter that house, and not only he accepted the stranger, but he wanted to serve him. Actually that man in the cottage was suffering from loneliness because he has lost his wife, and children not with him there. So was happy to get someone to talk to his loneliness. Immediately what did he do? He prepared porridge, and served him supper. What is supper? Night food. And after taking night food, he carved off a big piece of or a slice of tobacco for himself and for the stranger. And not only that, after enjoying a piece of tobacco, they went to play cards. That card is here, the Swedish way it is mules, and both of them played cards till they go to bed. So actually this rat trap seller was given shelter by the man who was living in the cottage. A very good man according to him, because generally he used to get a negative reply, or people would show their sour faces. So children, read the first 4 paragraphs thoroughly and frame questions. Like I told you already, you learn how to frame questions. Frame minimum some 8 to 10 questions. For example, the first one, what is that? What was the rat trap seller doing other than selling rat traps? Okay. Or why did he go to petty thievery and begging? That's another question. What was his physical appearance? Okay, another one. Why was his life a monotonous one? Okay. And what is his what was the idea that struck him while he was walking through the road? Okay. And why did he knock the door of a cottage? Or what was the reply? Or what did the owner of the cottage do? So like that you only frame a few questions. That is the assignment for today, and also find answers to these. uh, that is the end of today's class, and we shall meet again tomorrow. Bye bye.